Barack Obama. Well, a little earlier I spoke to John Hofmeister, who's a former president of Shell Oil, and I asked him if he was surprised at how America and the president were turning on BP.
I think the president is feeling quite vulnerable across a wide range of issues at the moment. BP presents to him the perfect opportunity to show his personal strength and his administration's strength by tackling this whole issue. BP is the bone in the Doberman's mouth right now, and that bone is being crushed by the jaws of government and political bullying, quite frankly. And it's really a very important issue for BP to get that flow stopped, which they're working every second of every day to do, and to put their heads down and go and execute their business plan.
Talk about the public relations, because it has been a disaster for BP, this, hasn't it? Now, why?
I think it was a mistake, with all due respect to the CEO, Tony Hayward, for him to come and put his physical presence in the U.S. The U.S., keep in mind, is a big island. It has its own culture, its own traditions. Foreign companies can do business there, but they're not necessarily welcomed. The U.S. still has this notion that they are the business leaders of the world, and along comes a big company like BP. It basically fouls its own nest with the Texas City and the North Slope and now the Gulf of Mexico incidences. And I think for Tony to be there and to be so present was not tactically a good move.
But he was damned if he did, damned if he didn't.
Absolutely, absolutely. But they have very senior executives in the U.S. who are Americans, who are totally competent in what they do. And I think it would be more appropriate for them to take the heat, because Americans will not pile on other Americans the way they would pile on a foreign executive. We saw what happened to the chairman of Toyota when he came to the U.S., and he was reduced to tears. There is something merciless about how the U.S. political class will gang up on foreign business class.
To continue the dog with a bone analogy, though, at some point the dog is going to miss the bone. I mean, America needs BP, doesn't it?
Absolutely. America needs BP. They have an incredible worldwide position. They're a very strong company. The irrationality of the market is whatever it is, and who can control that? No one. But the fact of the matter is BP has terrific assets in the U.S. They make a material difference to the industry overall, and they need to persevere through this difficult time.
John, presumably anybody in your position when you were at Shell and at BP now, they must have plans for events like this. I mean, it's a dangerous business. Accidents are going to happen.
It's the cumulative effect that is really worrying the American government and the American people with respect to BP. Execution is the most important thing a company does. And strategic positioning has been BP's strength. Execution has not been its strength. And I know Tony Hayward, from the moment he took over as CEO, has said the right messages to his organization and to the world about the importance of execution. We have to get to the bottom of what happened on the Deepwater Horizon. After 40 years and 35,000 wells, this has never happened before. We have to find out who did or did not do what they did or should have done to get to the root cause of what caused this incident.
But nothing's going to change until that leak is stopped.
That's correct.
Well, that was John Hofmeister, former president of Shell, who talked to us.